What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that a deal can still be done on the second stimulus check and the second stimulus package before the election. And we have some important information from the White House regarding the second stimulus package. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video. But first, if you can, give this video a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. My wife and I do all the research for you every single day regarding the second stimulus check and related news like the virus and the election. I will be updating you guys as soon as new information comes out. Let's jump right into it. Okay, first up, let's hear directly from the White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany on what they say is going on with the second stimulus check negotiations right now. Also, keep in mind in this interview, you might not be able to hear what the reporter's questions are, but you'll have a very good idea of what they're asking when she answers the questions.
I think there are many Republicans that would, and ultimately we think if you reached a compromise deal, that Republicans would not be the impediment. This is step by step, and step one is finding common place with Democrats, but we believe, just like Republicans came on board for the prior three deals, that they would too this time around. But again, step first is finding common place with Democrats. Yep. Jeff? Yeah, it's getting closer, and unfortunately, as we get closer, Nancy Pelosi sits more entrenchedly and staunchly in her position of depriving the American people of needed relief because she doesn't want President Trump to have an electoral victory. It gets harder as we get closer, but rest assured, Secretary Mnuchin, the Chief of Staff, are trying each and every day, but she's making it harder by not budging even 1 inch from her position that she's had since, I guess, March at this point. Or May, I should say. The president doesn't need to change the trajectory, of the race, because the trajectory of the race is strongly in his favor with a massive tailwind behind him. Look, I think you can see it in early voting. When you look in Michigan, the fact that we're 2 points ahead in requested ballots, 2 percentage points. It's actually NBC's tracker that you can go and look at. Republicans don't routinely match early vote of Democrats, and we're seeing that in states, and we believe that's more indicative of where the country stands than any of the public polling out there that sometimes is designed to shape public opinion rather than gauge it. Anything else? Yep. Ouija?
Thank you. Given how confident the president is of wrongdoing,
This is my life.
family, has he asked Attorney General
What? Say hi.
an investigation?
No, he has.
Will he?
No, he has not.
Now, Speaker of the House and leader of the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, says that a stimulus deal could happen still before the election if President Donald Trump approves it. Nancy Pelosi says, quote, "We're putting pen to paper. We're writing the bill and hopefully we'll be able to resolve it. We could do that before the election if the president wants to. I think he does. I know we do, but we want this to be a bipartisan bill." Now, what Nancy Pelosi means by that is she means that President Donald Trump and the Republican team need to agree with her on the negotiations over the second stimulus package. By agree with her, she basically means pretty much at this point, give her everything she wants. As we've been hearing, she's been holding out a lot close to her $2.2 trillion price point. She has said this week that it's not necessarily the top line number, but where the money is being spent and the language of the bill and the details of the bill on where the money is going to be spent. She doesn't want it to be, quote, a slush fund for President Donald Trump to spend the money wherever he wants. She wants the money to go to specific areas that are agreed on ahead of time. We do know that there's at least a $1,200 stimulus check in there and at least a $500 check for dependents this time around. We know that there will be at least a $400 check per week of the unemployment extension benefits. And both Nancy Pelosi and the Republican team have said that that will be retroactive. We don't know exactly when it will be retroactive, but the last thing we've heard is that it's near the beginning of September, around the first week in September, if they can approve this in a timely manner. We also know there's mortgage and rental assistance in there, which actually might provide you thousands of dollars more for paying your mortgage or paying your rent. And we also know that there's a clause in there that could forgive up to $10,000 of student loan debt. Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, the main negotiator for the Republicans, spoke again yesterday and will be speaking again throughout the weekend. They have both said that their legislators or their caucus members, basically Republicans and Democrats, will continue to work all the way through the weekend on the wording and the language of this bill, which is pretty good because it's bipartisan support. We're getting both Republicans and Democrats working on this bill, and they're going to work through the weekend as Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin still continue to negotiate over the weekend as well. So we kind of have two sets of people working on this bill now, which is much better than a week ago when we had just Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin working on it. It was just those two basically. Now we have caucus members from both sides working on the actual language and the wording of the bill. And they're said that when both sides are working on this bill, they're actually negotiating on that as well also. And then Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin will discuss the final details of this bill as they try to get an agreement done before the election. And I hate to say it, but as we're going into the fall and winter, virus cases are getting worse. The US just had their single worst day of new virus cases ever in the United States, a new record. As you can see here, the US set a new record for new virus cases in a single day on Friday as the country undergoes an alarming new surge in infections. According to the Virus Tracking Project's tally, there were more than 83,000 new confirmed virus cases across the country on Friday, surpassing the U.S. past record of 75,687. And also the day before, on Thursday, we actually had 75,000 cases also, which was almost near a high. So we've had over 75,000 cases 2 days in a row, and now yesterday with 83,000 new cases in one day. Also, the number of hospitalizations across the country has spiked by 40% in the last month, while the death rate has remained somewhat stable. That figure tends to lag behind increase in cases. The most significant spikes are taking place in the West and the Midwest. California saw more than 6,000 new cases on Friday, while Wisconsin saw more than 4,600 new cases. Michigan and Pennsylvania both saw more than 2,000 new cases each. In fact, recent data shows that we are now seeing an increase in cases in 45 states in the United States. And at this point, I don't know what is going to reverse the trend. Can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. That really leads us to what will happen going forward in the winter. Will we see a second shutdown? Will we see mandatory masks? Will we see a vaccine? Let me know your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen going forward into the winter with cases now spiking up? And we're now seeing literally the largest single day record of cases in the United States ever. Also, we're going to be starting our What's in the Box contest, where if you can guess what is in a box with clues, you can win money from me. The past two ones were the Game of Thrones eggs and this baseball, which was signed by Nolan Ryan. You didn't have to guess it was signed by Nolan Ryan, just that it was a baseball. So I'm going to be starting that contest probably later today in one of my upcoming videos. So make sure you stay tuned so you don't miss out on the first clue. And I will be giving you several clues to guess what's in the box. And if you can, you could receive money from me. I'll give you more details on that in the next video when we start the contest. You can click on this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.